Have you ever felt like the outsider, like no one truly understands you? What if that's not a weakness, but a sign that you're awakening? In a world addicted to noise and approval, there's a rare kind of power that only grows in silence. The power to stop chasing validation, to stop performing for connection, to walk alone, because your soul is calling you forward. This is the strength to stand alone, and it might be the key to becoming.
Hello, my name is Joshua, and welcome to Magnum Opus 333. This channel is all about spiritual awakening, where psychology meets spirituality. Each week, we discuss powerful ideas that help you understand yourself, transform yourself, and break free from the invisible programs that are controlling your life. If you want to see the world differently, this is the place for you. So stick around. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and let's get to it.
There's a kind of strength that most people never talk about. Not the kind that lifts weights, not the kind that commands rooms, but the kind that walks forward when no one walks with you. The kind that stands still in the silence and listens to the quiet voice within. This is the strength of solitude, the kind you discover when you stop trying to belong and start trying to become. In this video, we're going to explore what that really means. Not just how to be alone, but how to thrive alone. How to make solitude a sacred space instead of a source of suffering. We are born into a world that teaches us to seek belonging. As children, we look to our parents, our peers, our teachers. We shape ourselves to be accepted. We learn to shrink the parts that feel too different, too wild, too emotional, or too sensitive. And so, many of us become mirrors for others, instead of windows to ourselves. The world rewards conformity. Fit in, play nice, don't stand out too much. Blend in, be agreeable, make people comfortable. But what happens when your soul begins to itch beneath that mask? When your truth no longer fits inside the costume you've worn for years? Here's the thing nobody tells you. Not belonging, well, it might be the first step to becoming. If you've ever felt like the outsider, like the one who thinks differently, feels deeply, sees things others don't, this is not a flaw, it's a calling. It means your soul is trying to lead you somewhere beyond the crowd, into deeper waters, towards something that can't be found in approval or popularity. You don't find yourself in belonging. You find yourself in separation. In the sacred space between who they expect you to be and who you truly are. There's a difference between being lonely and being alone. Loneliness is hollow. It's the ache of disconnection, the sense that something is missing, someone or somewhere. But solitude is sacred. It's not about emptiness, it's about presence, being fully with yourself, not needing the world to fill the silence. Most people are terrified of solitude, not because they fear being alone, but because they fear what they'll find in the quiet. The unspoken grief, the buried anger, the forgotten dreams, the truth of who they've become. But solitude is not punishment, it's purification. When you sit in silence, without a screen, without distraction, you begin to hear the real voice inside of you. Not the one trained to perform, but the one that remembers who you are. Your intuition sharpens. Your awareness deepens. You begin to see, not just look. You begin to feel, not just react. Solitude doesn't disconnect you from life. It reconnects you with your essence. There's a strange threshold you reach when you choose to stand alone. At first, it feels like loss. You may grieve the friendships that no longer align. You may feel the sting of judgment, the weight of isolation, the fear of walking forward without support. But this is where your path begins. This is where you shed the layers that were never really yours, where you stop bending and start building, where your identity stops being shaped by what others reflect and starts being carved by what you remember within. Think of a seed buried underground, in darkness, in solitude. No one sees its growth at first, but deep beneath the surface, something powerful is happening. The roots go inward, the identity deepens, and one day, when the time is right, it breaks through the surface, transformed. Your solitude is not stagnation, it is gestation. It is where you meet your shadows, face your fears, and become your own source of light. What masks are you still wearing to stay accepted? What truths are you afraid to speak because it might mean standing alone? Let me know in the comments below. There comes a moment when the solitude becomes strength, when the silence no longer feels heavy, but holy. You realize not everyone is meant to go where you're going, and that's not rejection, that's redirection. Your soul didn't come here to be understood by everyone. It came to evolve. Some paths are narrow, some callings are lonely, but they are yours. And walking them is what makes you sovereign. The warrior's path isn't about conflict. It's about commitment to truth, to alignment, to the quiet, burning clarity inside you that says, "This is who I am, and I will not betray that anymore." You'll lose people. You'll lose comfort. You'll lose the illusion of safety. But what you gain is priceless. You gain integrity. You gain vision. You gain the kind of peace that can't be shaken because it isn't built on anything external. The warrior walks alone, not because they have to, but because they are willing to. I release what isn't mine. I embrace who I am. I walk my path, even if I walk alone. And now we come full circle. All of the solitude, all of the silence, all of the moments where you felt invisible. They weren't punishments. They were invitations. Invitations to go deeper, to shed the false self, to remember the soul beneath the armor. You were never meant to be like everyone else. You were meant to be awakened, to stand in your truth, even when the world shakes around you, to walk with the fire of clarity, even when the night is long, to rise, not because someone told you to, but because something within you refused to stay asleep. Awakening is not a sudden light. It's a slow, sacred unfolding. And often, it begins in the dark, in the quiet solitude. And then something shifts. You stop needing permission. You stop chasing approval. You stop explaining your truth to people who are committed to misunderstanding it. And in that moment, you become free. This is the strength to stand alone, and it is the beginning of everything that is real. So if you feel like no one understands you right now, good. That means that you're on your way. You're not behind, you're way ahead. You're not lost, you're being refined. You are not alone. you're with the deepest part of yourself. And that is where the real journey begins. Walk your path, stand in your truth, and remember, you were born to be awakened. Thank you for listening. If this message resonated with you, know that it wasn't by accident. You are not broken. You are breaking free. So if this spoke to your soul, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who might need to be reminded. And please comment below. I walk my path. I read every word. You are not alone here. This is a safe space for everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And may your life be blessed with wealth, health, and abundance. Thank you again.